Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching from. Um, we'll see how we go today. It looks like a snowstorm outside. We have cottonwood everywhere, like it is floating through the sky. Like I said, like a blizzard, like a snowstorm, and uh, I am very allergic. Um, so it's not even a fun time of year to like have the windows open, enjoy the warm weather, the fresh air. It's pretty much just like close everything and avoid it at all by all possible means. Um, I don't know about if you guys have allergies or if you suffer from them as well. But I'm also I find very sensitive to the antihistamines. So if I take any allergy meds, I basically have to counterbalance it with caffeine. And as you guys know, I don't drink a lot of caffeine, don't drink a lot of coffee. Although more so recently, I need to break this habit. But yeah, I've got a little Cafe de Olla, my Mexican coffee today to keep me going, counteract those allergy pills that I did succumb and finally decided to take some. Otherwise, I do have a box of Kleenex here, so um, I am prepped if I get into a sneezing fit or something. But my eyes are itchy, they're watery. I don't know. Do you guys suffer from this as well? Let me know. Um, Normally, this would be a ridiculous time to go to Mexico because it's June. I mean, it's beginning of hurricane season. In fact, we've got a hurricane brewing off the coast of Acapulco, which was devastated by Hurricane Otis 2 years ago in 2023. Um, and it's crazy hot, humid, not a pleasant time to be going to Mexico, but they have air conditioning and they don't have cottonwood floating through the air. So from an allergy perspective, I realize that in the past I have often been away this time of year, and now I get why. Because quite frankly, normally if I can sort of be away for a week or two during this mid-June time of year, I can usually beat the worst of the cottonwood allergies. So yeah, better planning methinks next year. So, yeah. Hey, everybody, look, there's 15 of you on. Wow. Hello, everyone. We're just chatting about allergies, seasonal allergies, how much fun those are. But yeah, comment below if you suffer from allergies as well. And what do you take for it? I'm not a big fan of um, the common ones. The one that used to work really well for me was Actifed, and then somebody decided that that was a good way to make a mainstream drug. So that's no longer on the shelves. So yeah, that was kind of the only allergy pill that consistently worked for me, but oh well. So let's go ahead and get our topics on here. All right. So again, we're going to do the chapters. So if you are watching this on the replay, thanks for tuning in. And sorry for sniffing today, but that is just going to happen. Um, and then I'll go in afterwards and I'll put the timestamp so you can see for each different chapter what's going on. And of course, we've added tangents so that for tracking back you can see easily what's going on. But yeah, the tangents, hey, I mean, this is part of talking about travel, right? This is what we do. So I've already put a link to this video of the port storms. There's been a lot of um I guess breakaways or tearaways where there's been big storms in ports when the ships have been docked, and it's actually caused the lines to break, the port lines where they are, I don't know my nautical terms, hitched up to the dock. And the storms are such, like the Alaska one, that was from a day or two ago. Holy moly. It's not great video, like you kind of, it's frustrating watching videos that people do, but I'm as guilty of it as anybody else, where you're holding your phone up and but you're looking at the same time, and then you realize that you're filming something over here, which is like a rock, which has nothing to do with the storm. Um, but actually some really good coverage, especially the second clip. If you go to the clip that's in the comments below, in the description, sorry, the description below, you will see the clip of the storm hitting this ship, this celebrity, I think it was a celebrity ship in Alaska. Oh, I've gone to a commercial. Yes, this was in Juneau, the Celebrity Edge. So it's a big ship, but you could see the line snapping. Like the force of the winds was just so much that the ship actually ended up almost at almost at a 90-degree angle, maybe a 45-degree angle to the dock. Which and people are, I'm assuming people who were watching this from up above on there's a tram that you can take to the top of one of the local hills, mountains, whatever. And you can get an amazing view of the port down below, which I've only been to Juneau once. I didn't go up the tram. It was a miserable, rainy, overcast day, so I probably wouldn't have seen much. But I will go back to Alaska. I will cruise up to Alaska again, and when I do, I'll definitely take that tram. From up there, like I said, you've got an amazing view of the harbor below, and you can see this ship, and it is like it's doing its own thing. When I sailed on Explora journeys earlier this year with Tammy, hopefully she's watching, we had the opportunity to go and do a ship tour with seeing the bridge, which is pretty uncommon. We, like who doesn't always have their phone with them? Well, we were not allowed to bring our phones. We had to keep them in our cabin, so of course we just locked them up in the safe, but I mean, we kind of felt naked for the hour or whatever that we were doing this tour, but because it's all proprietary information, so we couldn't film anything, which is, yes, I had a great experience, but I can't share anything with you other than talking about it. But it was interesting to see how they always have somebody watching. It's not exactly like below deck where it's just one guy, manning the ship kind of thing, or woman. But they always have somebody watching, even when they're in port. There's always somebody who's watching what's going on out there. And so, for this storm to cause the cables to break and for it to break away like that was pretty wild. So definitely check out the footage if you haven't already seen it on the news. But it's quite something. Just goes to show you how strong these storms can be. And I know I did touch as well, just briefly. Tangent time. Talking about the hurricanes, there is a hurricane that's forming on the coast of Acapulco. So if you're heading to uh, Puerto Vallarta, Manzanillo, or Cabo, you're just definitely going to want to keep an eye on that to see where it's tracking. The reason it hit Acapulco so badly in 2023 is because the storm gathered momentum really quickly and it became really, really strong. And I think it slightly changed direction as well, which is also what happened with, I believe it was Hurricane 𝖳તુԼyi𝖾. I think that was the name. And that was in probably 2012, 2013, somewhere around there. When it hit Cabo, and it was, again, it was supposed to be going out to sea or hitting somewhere different, and then it did a last minute change of direction. Blammo, hit Cabo head on and tore the roof off of some of the resorts. A friend of mine was actually, they were in the conference room and the hurricane hit, and it was actually tearing the roof off the building. So you can imagine how terrifying that would have been. So yeah, if you're heading to Cabo, or you know somebody who's heading to Cabo or anywhere in that area, Puerto Vallarta, Manzanillo, Mazatlan, or of course Cabo, definitely make sure they're keeping an eye on things. So yeah, stay safe, everybody. But honestly, like looking at it on my Windy app, it's like that's pretty intense, right? So I don't know what they're projecting it to be but no bueno. Okay, back on track. Venice. So Jeff Bezos is apparently getting married, and it's a big secret. He has apparently he's socked $10 million. I mean, like this isn't your average destination wedding. A lot of people will do a destination wedding to save money. But what's his net worth? I mean, that's not even a chink in the armor, right? So he's spending apparently $10 million to get married in Venice. There's massive protests. This is all happening later this month. So again, if you're hitting Europe, if you're planning to go to Venice, around the end of the month, around what is it? Supposed to be, I saw the date on here earlier. I think, June 28th. Is the rumor. And I mean, they're keeping it all kind of under wraps, but let's be honest. I mean, there's always going to be people involved because those people who have all the money are going to make those people do the work for them. And those people are going to talk. Not always, but it's kind of often what happens. And also the whole preparations for the event, right? It's not like going to be a big secret if they're taking over an entire island to host the reception or whatever they're doing. So apparently there's some pretty major protests. There looks like they're going to be trying to block the entire city. So the canals, everything. So if you're planning on going to Venice, good times, could be interesting. If you were thinking about it, might want to change those plans up. End of the month, Christine T is cruising right now, but she should be back by then. So that's okay. John, another channel follower, he is doing a back-to-back cruise. But again, you should be, if you're watching, thank you. You should be back by then, so you should miss it. So that's good. But yeah, it's just interesting to hear all this. And I mean, of course, there's also the over tourism stuff going on. So, I mean, at this point in time, I don't think you can take any travel for granted, especially in Europe with the whole over tourism thing. Maybe if you're planning on going to Europe next year, take a look at what's happening in the news this year and see what time of year is better for things or not, would be my advice, to maybe keep an eye on things that way. We'll see. Hopefully you guys, let me know if you can comment below. Please comment, just anything, happy face, thumbs up, whatever. There were some reports of issues last week where, for whatever reason, commenting was not an option. Angelo was able to comment quite a bit. Bojangles, I'm not sure if you're watching, but she was able to comment, and a few others, of course. So, getting allergy brain, like my from the drugs, it's kicked in, which is good. But it's going to be a Netflix day from here on out, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, let me know if you can comment in any way, shape, or form. And also, if you haven't already done so, go ahead and hit that like button. But going back to our topic, yeah, so Hyatt Playa acquisition. So as I mentioned last week, we had some pretty major changes. We had the Hilton La Romana became the Secrets and Dreams La Romana. We had the Wyndham Ultra Cancun became the Sunscape Cancun. We had the Hilton Playa del Carmen became the Hyatt Vivid Playa del Carmen. Just name changes. These aren't even including the new properties that they announced earlier this year. So that's kind of a bit of a shakeup. So that was last week's news. The acquisition is complete now, and all that's happened is that Hyatt All-Inclusive Collection is basically going to be managing these resorts now. So previously it was Playa Resorts, that management group, that were taking care of a lot of these properties. Hyatt supposedly, so they say, is not interested in purchasing the property. So you kind of have a couple of layers going on. You have, for example, Sanctuary Cap Cana, owned by, we'll just call him Bob. You know who it is. Private owner. Then they have somebody who manages it. So that was Playa. Is it now Hyatt? I haven't even heard on that one for sure. But okay, case in point, Hilton La Romana, owned by X, was managed by Playa, now managed by Hyatt Inclusive Collection. And we're going to see a few changes. Like, I did a video with Amanda where we discussed, I did an interview with her about the Hilton La Romana because she had just been there. And in the interview, it also brought up the fact that when it was a Hilton, they charged a fee for room service. Now, I stripped that out of the interview. You recall, if you've seen the video, that there was no mention of the room service fee. And I took that out because I mean, call me crazy, but don't call me crazy, but let me know if you've ever experienced anything different. But never have I ever been to a Secrets, Dreams, Breathless, Zoetry. Never have I ever stayed at any of those properties where they've charged a fee for room service. So that's kind of some of the stuff that will possibly be changing. Okay. Dean's testing the chat. So works, I can see it. So if others are watching, then let me know what you think. And also, it's weird how it seems to be sending out notification. YouTube seems to be sending out notification to people to join in on the chat. I don't know why. Nah, I don't know. I don't really understand YouTube. And I mean, there's a million people out there that will tell you how YouTube works, but because nobody really knows. And it's not like YouTube's got a little guide out there saying, hey, this is how the algorithms work. But anyways, we have had quite a few people on and off today, and I'm not sure if people are bouncing off because they can't make comments. So let me know if you've jumped on and you can comment, leave a comment, because I want to find out if something goofy is going on. I didn't connect. I should change this because we're on a tangent. I didn't connect this live broadcast with Facebook this week, so perhaps that's helping it work better. I don't know, because Facebook doesn't get along sometimes. Oh well, what can you do? So anyways, going back to the Hyatt Playa acquisition, so we'll see what other changes come of that, if any. But also, there's supposed to be lots of new properties. I know even Angelo has been, when he goes to all these properties, he chats up all the staff to find out all the insider information about upcoming changes and stuff like that. And so he hasn't been able to find out much more information. Hey, Louise, thanks for tuning in. Glad it's working for you. Okay, that's another positive that it is working. So that's good to know. But we're supposed to be seeing a new Breathless in Puerto Vallarta. No word on that. The two new Hyatt Vivids, one of them in Punta Cana, one of them in Acapulco. Again, no word on that. And there's just a bunch of stuff going on. So, who knows what's going to happen. I think that a lot of their focus, like I said last week, was based on has been targeted to getting this acquisition up and running and everything sorted. And it seems like the majority of it is now complete. So with that, perhaps we'll see some other movement on some of this other stuff. So stay tuned for more. Grand Princess. So I was lucky enough yesterday to tour the Grand Princess. It's in town, or was in town yesterday in Vancouver, and heading to Alaska. So during the summer months, the Grand Princess cruise ship does Vancouver round trip to Alaska. And I was able to get on board and tour the ship. It was an amazing ship tour, probably one of the best I've ever had. Seeing so much of the ship, having free time on my own. So I was able to do a lot of filming. So stay tuned in the next, not today, but probably for tomorrow, I'm actually going to release one of the videos, which is the tour of the ship. And it was pretty cool because they gave us a list. Normally when we go on board the ship, so here's the thing. When the cruise ship comes in, and it usually lands, usually docks at, say, 7 a.m. And shortly thereafter, passengers can disembark. I always find it ironic that at a hotel, at a resort, you have your check-in time is 3 p.m. and then usually people, checkout time is noon. And, but it's kind of a leisurely thing. It's like, well, my flight's not until 5, so I'm going to hang out for a couple hours, use the pool, have some lunch, have some drinks. On a cruise ship, it's like you get on board midday, usually leave the port at 4, 5, 6 p.m. For going to Alaska at any rate. And then you get into port at the end of the cruise at about 7 a.m., sometimes 6 a.m., sometimes 8 a.m. And it's like, get out! So it's ironic, it's like, welcome, happy, washy, all this, like, oh, enjoy, welcome, have a great cruise, and then get out. Like, that's it, we're done with you, get off the ship. Call me crazy, it strikes me as ironic, odd, I don't know. So anyways, yesterday the ship came in. I think it came in at 7 or 8 a.m. Passengers are disembarking. Ideally by about 10 a.m., 10:30, they want everybody off the ship so they can clear it. And at that point, that's when any of us who are touring the ship, any ship tours, would commence, as well as any guests who have priority embarkation or special needs. They would be allowed to get onto the ship. And so us as guests, as if you're cruising, if you have priority embarkation or special needs, then once you get on the ship, that's it, you're in, and you're on for the next week or whatever the duration of your cruise is. For those of us who are touring, usually we have a set time that we have to disembark. Yesterday, the ship was leaving at 4. We had to be off the ship by 2. And so that gave us 4 hours. Well, it didn't quite work as smoothly as that, but we basically had a 4-hour window with which to see the ship and tour it and everything like that. And we got to go up and see all the different decks. I mean, I had a little cheat sheet because I want to know like where everything is. So I wrote down like on this deck at the front 4 is this and this and this. And if I go to deck 7 at the 4 at the front is the theater, Crown Grill, the library. Midship is the shops, Cruder's Bar, the glass lifts, elevators, lounge. And then aft at the back is a bar, photos, Italian restaurant, and the Vista Lounge. So, and we actually got to see all of the main public areas. But not only that, they gave us this list of cabins that we were able to see. This is unheard of. Never have I ever been on a cruise where there were that many cabins available. I mean, the ship I don't think was sold out. And they were fast with their turnarounds, like where basically everybody's off the ship by 10 a.m. But usually they want you out of your cabins by 8:30 latest, so they can go in and whip it all up. So strip all the sheets and everything like that, refresh the towels, all of that stuff, make it nice and neat and tidy for the next guest to come on board. And yesterday it was about 1:30 when they were allowing guests to finally go into the cabins. And they basically will say it's once all of the cabins are ready, then they open it up to everybody to go in. So that was our kind of window to go and see these different cabins. But I was able to see most of them. I didn't quite get to see all of them, but I've included those, and I'll put those into a video for you so that you can see kind of how some of them compare. But it was quite interesting. Like, for example, there's balcony cabins And what Tammy always does for us when we're booking a cruise together is she won't book a regular balcony, she'll book a premium balcony. And if you've ever looked at a cruise ship, a lot of times what you'll see is, you see the balcony cabins, and then you'll see some that sort of jut out and have, instead of a little deck where you've got chair, balcony, wall, you've got chair, maybe even space for a stool, and then a bit more space, and then the balcony wall. So those are premium balconies. And I didn't get to see one of those, but we just saw regular balcony. So you can kind of see the difference. And also I'll include some links when I do that video, comparing it to a premium balcony cabins that I've had in the past. But it's definitely worthwhile to have that extra space because, like, no matter where you are cruising to, you're going to want to have some time on your balcony just to, enjoy the view, whether it's just looking out at the ocean as you're sailing along, checking out the sunset, the sunrise, depending on which way you're going, or even seeing land. And especially coming into port, it's pretty amazing to be able to see, the land and, everything as you're sailing along and getting closer to your next port. So yeah, so anyways, I was able to tour that and got a lot of incredible video clips. So I'll be putting that together for you. As I say, I'll put together a video of the Grand Princess. Ideally for tomorrow, I should be able to whip that together. And then I've still got lots more Cabo videos to share, so stay tuned for those. But the Grand Princess, it was a lovely ship. It was actually built in 1998. So fast forward, we are now 27 years later. So back in 1998, and this ship, it was funny because the guy who was taking us on a tour was describing it and saying, the Grand Princess is actually the smallest ship in their fleet currently. I don't know if that's quite true. But it's, by comparison to some of the larger ships, it's a smaller one. And when it was built in 1998, they spent $450 million on it. And it was the largest and most expensive cruise ship to go into service at that time, like out of any of the ships. So pretty remarkable, when you consider, like, I mean, it's got a max capacity of 2,600. By comparison, the MSC ship that I was booked on last year was 5,600, I think. Some of the MSC ships are absolutely massive. Again, some of the, the Icon of the Seas, also massive. So the Royal Caribbean and MSC, I think, are pretty much tied for having the largest ships out there. And there's a lot of things to do on them. They usually have, I know, lots of activities and stuff like that. Royal Caribbean especially has got the, the water slides, the roller coaster, or the adventure, what would you call that? Where you're like going on the ropes, and kind of climbing around. So that, they've got a lot of those type of activities. But you're also on there with thousands of other people. So for me, not really. That's not my jam. I'd rather be on a smaller ship. I still would like it to have some stuff going on. Um, I don't necessarily need a roller coaster. I don't know. Would you take a roller coaster at sea? I don't know. I think I would be wary. Maybe that's the right word. I think I would be wary of taking any kind of thrill ride on a ship in the middle of the ocean. Um, just seems like that might not be the smartest thing I could do. I don't know. But I mean, obviously, hundreds, probably thousands have done. But I don't know. Let me know. What do you think? Would you would you be daring enough to do that? So yeah, so Grand Princess, quite an amazing ship. Not overly huge, but is doing the Alaska runs this summer, and then it'll move down to through the Panama, and it'll carry on doing Caribbean in the winter as the ships migrate to the next area where they can get working. And it's just like a plane, back to back. What, like they're always transporting people. So yeah, it was pretty amazing to see those. So I'm happy and excited to share that with you. So other than that, there's not a whole lot, well, there's a few things going on, but that's kind of all I have for you this week. And I'm, like I said, I'm just a bit bleh with the allergy thing. So yeah, that's kind of, unless anybody else, and unless anybody has anything else to add, and I think the coffee's kind of kicked in, and I think I'm speaking like sort of 1.5 times faster than normal, or at least I'm slowing down now, but I think I have been speaking quite quickly. So sorry for that. But that's what happens when Christine has coffee. It's not a good thing. So I think I'm going to call it a wrap for today. If you haven't already done so, please go ahead and do the thumbs up thing. If you have any other comments, let me know. And like I said, I'm going to get all the rest of these videos out a little bit behind right now. But instead of just releasing a new video each weekend, I think I'm just gonna release them. So you're gonna get notifications if you've subscribed in the first place, but also if you subscribe to get notifications. So you'll get those. You watch them if you watch them. If you don't, you don't. Don't feel inundated, I hope. But just trying to get the information out there. And of course, they're all sort of searchable topics, Grand Princess, the Rio Palace, Cabo San Lucas, that kind of thing. So those are coming up. And if you have any questions on any of them, let me know in the comments below. So thanks for tuning in today. I hope you guys have a great day. Hope you have a great rest of your week. And we shall see you next Wednesday. And hopefully your allergies aren't bad. Hopefully mine improve. So thanks for tuning in today, and I hope you have a great day, and we will see you next Wednesday.